Ladies and gentlemen, and all folks in between, welcome to Aunt Millicent's cooking show. On today's show, we're going to be making an egg pie, also known as a quiche. It's a kind of a French treat. Now, I'm not French, and I don't have a giant amount of French cooking background, believe it or not. So we're going to make these out of easy ingredients that most of y'all have in your kitchen. Okay, so I would call this easy quiche. Okay, so what I want to do is apron up and let's go over the ingredients. Okay. Before we start assembling our quiche, it's a good idea to go ahead and preheat your stove. You should preheat it up to 375, and we're going to bake this quiche probably about 35 or 40 minutes so the egg gets nice and firm. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm back, and the first thing you got to have for a quiche are eggs. Now, I know eggs are apparently sky high everywhere right now, but apparently it's sky high everywhere but here. Where I live in the U.S., way out in the country, and there's more chickens here than people. So I don't know what's going on. I've seen a slight increase, but anyway, you have to have eggs for the quiche. It's essential, okay? We have to have a little bit of either milk, half and half, or cream. If you want a nice smooth quiche, cream for half and half will do it. But if you just have milk, you can certainly substitute. Not a big deal, okay? All right, then I believe that any quiche needs to have cheese, okay? I want to use the Swiss cheese tonight, and you could really make this with cheddar. You can make it with Colby, even mozzarella. So the cheese type is totally optional, okay? You're going to need about a cup of it, all right? And then finally, I have these pre-made pie dishes, and this is where our quiche is going to go in, and we're going to bake it, okay? The egg pie just bakes up real nice and fluffy, and it's wonderful. I've made these in my household for a long time, so that's the essentials, okay? And then you probably want some salt and some pepper, which I'm sure you probably have floating around in your cabinet somewhere, okay? Now, finally, we have optional ingredients, okay? So instead of going over those, I'll go over those at the end a little bit in more detail, but you can add any sort of like it's typical like a breakfast meat, like ham, bacon, or anything like that. And you can also add spinach. You can add mushrooms, chives. There's a lot of different ways you can make a quiche. It's really up to you and what your preferences are. But those things I just went over are sort of the essentials, okay? So let's get started. Okay, to start prepping my ingredients, what I bought, I'm gonna actually make two quiches today. I ended up with two pie crusts. When you buy the crust at the store, sometimes it comes with two, sometimes it comes with one. I ended up with two. We'll usually eat it no matter what. You can always have one for dinner and one for breakfast. So what I'm going to do is I want to cut up one and make it different than the other one. And this first one's going to have ham in it. I've got a little ham steak here, which you can see. And the second one is going to end up with no meat. Well, I guess eggs are meat, but it's going to have spinach, and it's going to have just cheese. So it's going to be a nice little different kind of taste, okay? So before you put this in, you have to dice it up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Now that our chunks are done up, we are going to just put them in the pie shell. Okay, so this is what the pie shell looks like when you take it out of the plastic. And I'm just going to scatter those in here. It'll fill up a lot of the pie shell, so we won't even have to have that much egg in there, okay? So while I get that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove aside my cutter, and we're going to take the second pie shell, and we're going to put spinach in, okay? So, and you don't have to put the whole bag, just wherever you got. You want to fill it in nice and healthy, but you don't want to fill the whole thing to the top. So you can't, because you still have cheese and egg to go on here, okay? So this is our main ingredient for each one. And this is going to be great, okay? Pretend like you're making a salad, okay? There we go. All right, so now we're going to have to mix up our shredded cheese, and then we're going to put our egg mixture in. Okay. Okay, so I've got all my Swiss grounded up here, and we're ready to go in. And you think, wow, that's a whole lot of cheese, Millicent, but it's okay. It'll all take it. Okay, and you can't never have too much cheese. Remember episode 1 of this, I sang a little ode to cheese. I'm not going to torture you with that tonight, but let's just start filling this up. So I'm going to take my pie pan and my spinach and just fill these guys in. All the space that you can, fill it in with cheese. And remember, there's still an egg mixture that goes in here too, okay? So we can do that. And if you have any left over, well, that's called snacking cheese, right? So there you go. So here's this one. And it looks pretty good. The quiche is mostly, the cheese is really what carries it. The egg is just what holds it together. There you go. There you go. And I'm going to go back to my meat or ham hock one here. And you know, you can lay off all the meat you want. These can be you know, closer to healthier, I guess, if you leave some of the meat out. But everybody likes a little, you know, meat every once in a while, right? So I think my cat is having a fit. He won't hurt anybody. Okay, so there we go. So I filled in, you know, as much as I can here. Now we got to put an egg mixture in here. Okay, so I'll be right back with that. We're ready with the egg mixture now. I assume you guys know how to crack an egg. You just, you know, tap, tap, break the shell, drop. I've got 6 eggs in my bowl here. And you can go ahead and either whisk them. I would just go ahead and pour the half and half into. So I've got 3/4 of a cup of half and half. So that's going to go in the bowl. There we go. While we have it, let's salt it up a little bit. If you have a low tolerance to sodium, just leave it out. You won't miss it. And then pepper always makes it taste good. Just regular black pepper or white, either one works perfectly. Okay, and what I'm going to do is bring out my magic whisk, and we're going to whisk it. Okay, make sure you burst all the yolks. Now that our egg mixture is mixed up, it's nice and yellow. Make sure you break all the yolks. Again, like I said, let's pour it into our pie pans. Okay, and this is the exciting part where you think, uh-oh, it's going to go flow over. You know what? Don't let it flow over. Just pour it in until you can see it and it's at the top. Okay, it is liquid, so it'll fill in all the gaps. Okay, and don't forget we have, well, in my case anyway, I have 2. So you don't want to pour absolutely everything into one shell. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Let's save some for the spinach quiche. So I'm going to push that aside. And then we have this guy here. And by the way, if you end up kind of short, I just went over. If you end up a little short, you can add some more eggs. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. So just go get yourself an egg or 2 more and a little bit more milk, cream, or half and half, and you can fill in the space all the way to the top. And there's our quiche. So they're going to go into the oven now. Okay, y'all, we are done. These guys are nice and brown. That's how you can tell they're done. They have a nice little kind of a golden hue to them. Obviously, you don't want to see a whole lot of liquid. And you can also smell them. They'll smell really good when they're cooking. And another test you can do is you can take a chopstick and poke them in there. And if they come out, you know, relatively clean, in other words, with no egg on them, it should be good to go. So I think these guys are ready to be consumed. Yes. Okay, y'all, we're done. I'm in my dining room and I have my quiche. And I just wanted to wrap up and say you can customize the quiche as much as you like. Good additions would be bacon instead of ham, or no meat at all. You probably put hamburger meat in there. Cook it first. You can also, for the vegetarian side, you can put, like I said, scallions, chives. You can put in spinach, some mushrooms, some nice, you know, sauteed mushrooms are good. There's a lot of different things you can put in the quiche, and don't forget you can modify the cheese content also. So I want to take a quick bite and make sure it's done, or at least halfway decent. Good, and it's a nice eggy pie, and it's just savory as it can be. So that's the show. I thank you all for joining me again. And thank you for all your comments, your likes, and your subscribes. And I hope you'll join me on the next show. And with that, I will sign off with a happy and healthy bon appetit.